Good morning, everybody. Another episode of the Keep Going podcast, Athletes Shining a Light on Mental Health, sponsored by the Me Too We LLC. Super excited to have Maggie Davenport. Before I get to that, David Mitchell, handsome as ever. What's going on, Dave?
What's going on, Pat? Good morning, guys. How we doing today?
Everything's good. Jackie Tripp, come out of the car as well. Jackie, what up?
How we doing? Had a nice Saturday off of work finally, so I'm rested up for the pod.
Yeah, someone's gonna get Jackie an off work GoFundMe at this point. That girl's grinding out there. I love it. And then Maggie, I'm super excited. Obviously, we've had your good friends on, significant others on. Tell me about yourself. Why'd you want to come on the podcast today?
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Super stoked to be here. For me, being a coach, being an athlete, mental health is super important to me and something that I love talking about. I love making connections. I'm definitely a people person. So any chance I have the opportunity to get on and chat about this stuff and just share stories and hear stories, I always love it. So very excited.
Yeah, and I'm excited to hear more about you, but also what you're doing kind of behind the scenes. She Bridged the Gap is huge. Obviously, we tag you in our episodes every week. We got connected through CNC. I got the hoodie on representing her and Bree today again. But I just want to tell you, we love what you're doing there. Talk about that. Talk about the vision. Talk about how you got that started.
Yeah, totally. Thanks for the shout out. Always appreciate it. Love what
Always.
you guys are doing too.
Thank you.
She Bridged the Gap. It's kind of like evolved. So it started out as many podcasts did, kind of a project during COVID. I was at home and thinking about different stuff. And for me, being a student athlete was so central to who I was. And anyone asked, and I was like, oh, I swim. I am a swimmer. I'm a student athlete. That was such a big part of me. And reflecting a year or two later, I think I realized what a hard time I had kind of shifting my identity from being a swimmer to being a swammer. As a coach now, I always joke around, I haven't really stepped that far away. I still am kind of faking it and still pretending to be a student athlete. But I think for me, there wasn't a lot of conversation. A lot of the athletes that I was coaching, either at the club level or as I got into college, there wasn't really any preparation for, hey, this is what it's like going from high school to college. And then more importantly, once you're done with college, it's okay to feel all these things, or it's okay to kind of try and struggle to figure out. And whether that's looking at I've always had a strength and conditioning coach to tell me what to do in the weight room, and now I walk into a gym and I'm like, what the heck am I doing? Or just the general identity piece. That was something that I just wanted to kind of highlight and start talking through. Like I said before too, I love talking to people and giving them a platform to share their stories. So that's kind of where it started, and just been building off that. And I have so many ideas in my head on where I want it to go and what we want to do, but we'll see. We're just kind of having fun with it right now, and kind of we'll see where it goes.
No, I love that. And I don't know. We talked about it 100+ episodes ago. I didn't think anyone would ever come listen to this, Maggie. Ever. I didn't think anybody would listen. I was like, you know what? If we touch one person, great. But your reach is going to be bigger than you think. And I think that's powerful. Dave, go ahead.
Yeah, I think what you're doing is awesome. I think it's just more about the impact, and if we can impact one person listening here today, that's all that matters.
No, I completely agree. And I want to lean more on the college coaching side for you. You said you're kind of still faking it, which I can relate to. I'm 30. I still run hills with my guys. I'm so sore today. I got to stop trying to be I'm 21 again. But talk about how you relate to your players being younger, still putting the work in.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I hear you. Me and my assistant try and hop in the weight room with them sometimes. I'm like, what am I doing?
I know.
It's so
I know.
fun, but I can't walk the next day. I'm not I'm not as young as I was. But yeah, I think I'm super lucky being back at my alma mater coaching there. I think being a young head coach is a lot of fun, but I kind of had a nice little help in that learning curve being at the school where I went to. So I kind of already knew it. I think my staff is young too. So the three of us are all under 30, all under 29 actually. So it's fun. We have a really good time with the girls. I think it does help knowing what they are going through. And I went through it 5 years ago, 6 years ago, close enough that I feel like it helps me relate to where they are. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I love college coaching. So
No doubt. I'm going to go to Jackie here in a second. Do you feel like talking about the struggles and the failure and the things that went wrong in your experience benefit your athletes?
yeah, totally. I had a couple injuries. Long story short, I like originally wanted to play soccer in college, ended up tearing my ACL 3 times. Senior year was like, I can't do this anymore, but I still want to play a sport. And that's kind of how I got into swimming, which is crazy now that, it's my life, passion, job, everything. But originally that wasn't the plan. So I think having like some of those experiences, kind of going, struggling a little bit mental health wise in school. At the time, it's always like, it's hard, but looking back now, I'm someone that thinks you like beautiful things can come out of really tough things, and our experiences can really help others. So 1000%, I always try and draw back on like kind of what I went through and not necessarily relate it to their experience because it's not always the same, but be like, hey, I understand those feelings that you're having. Like, let's work through those. So yeah, I definitely think it helps a lot.
I didn't know that happened. I'm glad
Yeah.
that you pivoted. I'm thankful for that because you get to come
Yeah.
on and talk to us today. Jackie, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Maggie, I wanted to ask you this because we had a coach on last week, and I think it was Dave that asked the question, and I really liked it.
Yeah.
When talking about mental health and obviously being able to relate to your players, as the leader of the team and the one that we said last week, quote unquote, drives the bus, how do you take care of yourself so that you can be that person for your players?
That is an awesome question. Because that's something I've been working on a lot. First and foremost, I've been going to therapy for like 2 years. I was definitely somebody that was like, always, I'm really good at giving advice, not always as good at taking it on my own. I'm definitely that. And also like, I love what I do. And so I will do it 24/7. And so I have been really trying to get better about like, sometimes after dinner, I need to like not sit and like answer emails or plan stuff. Like go take a walk, go do things like that. I've been trying to carve out specific times where like I'm quote unquote not available. My girls know, like, call me and I will always answer, but I'm not always gonna be if it's something dumb, like save it save it for tomorrow. So I've been trying to find times to take just for myself and to do those things. Going to therapy has been huge, just a third party not related to be able to just talk to about stuff that I'm doing. And then for me, working out is really big. I've been getting back in the pool a bit and just like sharing that with friends and kind of having that quote unquote team like community again. That's something that I know really helps me. So I think in the craziness of, coaching's 24/7, trying to carve out times that are specifically for me. And I know the things that I like to do that kind of make me feel centered and make me feel better and get to a point where I know if I don't do something, I'm not going to be my best. And I know I have to be my best so that they can be their best. So yeah, I think it's different for everyone, but I really try and take the time to like get outside a little bit, work out, and then connect with friends and just take time where I can take the coach hat off for a little bit.
Yeah, I like that. And I like that you said it looks different for everyone. Like my twin sister and I, we have different, we both like to work out, but we have different things we do in terms of like relaxing ourselves. Like the other week, she she had got herself an adult coloring book, so she was like, I'm gonna go color, and I was like, I'm just gonna go outside and sit. And we both did that for like 15 minutes before we went out and went on with our day and continued our plans. But it looks different for everybody, and it's not this big magical crazy thing you have to do. It could be like you said, jumping in the pool or going for a walk or just turning off the computer and emails and just making sure that you're grounded enough to be able to drive that bus. So I like that you do that.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think the question I want to ask next, obviously, Maggie, like we have a lot of parents, a lot of student athletes, a lot of coaches that listen. That's kind of our niche. It's kind of our dynamic. It's also different in 2025. Like I would argue it's never been tougher for student athletes, parents, and coaches right now. Any advice for the parents going through this process with their kids?
Yeah, yeah, no, it is so different now. Like it is insane. And I can like swimming is so much is different than soccer, it's different than basketball, it's different than like it's different than all these sports and some of the yeah, it's the recruiting world is crazy now. I'll say the big one piece of advice I think I'll give to parents and I come from a recruiting standpoint of like obviously I bleed green and gold. I love Sienna. I went there. I'm back coaching, but I always give the pitch like if at the end of this place is for you, phenomenal. And if there's somewhere else that's great for you, that's also phenomenal. And so I think the big thing that I tell parents and students, like, don't be afraid to ask questions, ask as many questions as you want. Like, I always am encouraging parents, like, hey, I'll connect you with financial aid, I'll connect you with academics, I'll connect you with whoever. I think sometimes, obviously, we don't want the parents running the show for the student athletes. Like I'm not recruiting you, I'm recruiting your kid. But at the same time, you're the one a lot of times that's paying the bill and is supporting them in that. So I think not being afraid to ask questions is a big one for parents. And then just be supportive and like talk through with your kids, like, hey, what are your priorities? What do you want to get out of this? And like kind of come up with that list and support them and talk them through that. I think just the more conversations you can have about it, the better.
I love that. Be curious and just love on your kids, but don't drive the bus. Go ahead, Jackie.
I remember when I was looking at colleges for basketball, and I had this big like spreadsheet of what colleges had reached out to me, where I wanted to look, and my mom and my stepdad sat me down and they were like, with literally every school, if you go here, this is what this looks like financially, and if you go here, they were like, I want you to picture every single school without basketball. Like if you, my mom was like, if you break your leg tomorrow and you can never play basketball again, then what does that school look like for you? And I'm so glad that she did that, because I ended up hurting my back and not being able to play basketball, and I had to pivot, and I realized, wow, a lot of these schools I didn't look at for things beyond the sport, and I think kids get lost in that today, and it's a very important thing for kids to look at it with their parents as a whole picture, like campus life, education. Obviously, am I going to have the right support here for my education? So look beyond just the athletic piece of it, because yes, that's a big slice of the pie, but it's not the whole pie in terms of your journey, you know?
Completely agree. And Maggie, what I'd ask you too, and I'll give you a little second here as probably a train goes by. What I want to ask you is about this. We know you're a Division I athlete. We know you're a Division I coach. We know you've done a lot in the mental health world. I want to know something outside of that. Like, talk to me like, who's Maggie Davenport when like you're not in a sports setting? I think it's big to show these big names in a different light.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, a train just did go by, but
Look
we're
at
okay.
that timing.
They're
You
quick.
were
They're quick.
great. You're a professional. You're great.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'd say a couple things outside of me, and like the coaching side of things. I grew up on a farm, so I grew up working. My family has owned. My dad's like fifth or sixth generation vegetable farmer, so family's super important. Me and my cousins and brothers grew up working the farm every summer and doing that. So outdoors is always something that I love. That's big for me. My mom is a really great musician, so I grew up playing piano and guitar and stuff. So going back to that question about, finding things for you, I love like going home and just like playing piano and doing stuff like that. And then outside, like I'm just a people person. Like I love hanging out with friends. I love going exploring different places. I love doing different fun stuff. So outside of that, yeah, just love having a good time with people. Love doing anything outside. Yeah, I think that answered your question, Etta.
No, it absolutely did. And I just love not only like your energy and who you are, but like I can just tell like in the picture that we used on socials, it's you and all your girls, and they're like, I love this lady here in the middle. Like I can just tell, like that just makes me so happy being a former coach. Like you want that relationship. Has it always been that way? Like, what's your keep going moment in all this? Like, has you always been this person, or was there like some moment where you're like, oh my goodness, I don't want to be in this profession anymore?
Um, I mean, I don't think so, honestly. Like, it's really cool, and I count myself so lucky when I talk to friends, and like, I have some friends who love their job, and I have some friends who are like, like it's fine. I like genuinely like I think I was made to coach. I think that like I always tell people like I will probably drop dead on a pool deck. Like this I just love doing this in whatever capacity. It's kind of weird. I like never I went to college as a bio major. I had like other plans, other things I wanted to do. I was like kind of thinking pre-med stuff, maybe PT, and then I was like, I don't want to go to more school for that. Let's see. So I did a year of post-grad service after, and I came home for COVID, and I was at home, and I remember like so distinctly when I realized I wanted to start coaching. I'd been coaching like summer teams since I was like 17 or 18, like, whatever. That's how I got kind of started. And then during COVID, I was coaching my old club team. Anyone who comes home, my coach, shout out Coach Joe, always makes them come and coach just on deck.
Shout them out. Shout them out. Yep.
Yep, he's awesome. But I was coaching and I remember being like, okay, maybe I'm like gonna go be a teacher and then I'll coach on the side, or maybe I'll do this and then I'll coach on the side. And I was like, what am I doing? Like everything I want to do, I keep being like, I'm gonna do this and coach, I'm gonna do this and coach. And I just in that moment, I remember there was such a distinct moment where I was like, what no, like I need to be coaching. This is what I want to do full time. And I think it's cool now. There's a lot more. I like had never considered it as like an option for a full-time job. And I think now it's more open and people like see that more that as an option. But yeah, from that moment on, like I started coaching and I haven't looked back. And I don't know, I don't think there's a moment that like I'm ever like, oh, I don't know. I love it so much. I love the relationships. Like you said, my team, like I came into such a great group of girls. Like, yeah, I love it. I love it.
Okay, I'm gonna ask a selfish question because this is just sometimes my brain gets going here on a Sunday morning. Those Sienna jerseys that those girls are wearing, those hockey jerseys, how does the team get some of those? Because I need to get one in my wardrobe immediately if those are not just team specific. Tell me about how that got started.
Yeah, actually, so want to start to tell you those were team specific. I can
Okay, all
see,
right, then you're
I
off the
can,
podcast. It's over. You get
yeah,
out of here.
I can reach out and see. Actually, we're super cool. One of our senior, actually, one of the girls that was in the picture, I think she was on my right, Maddie Buck. We got to champs, and she was like, "Hey, coach, like during the first meeting, I have a surprise for everyone." And like nobody knew about it, and she just walked in with this massive box and was like, "Hey guys, like I've been seeing these, and like." I asked my parents, and her family is phenomenal. They actually bought them for the whole team. So shout out to them. But yeah, no, she just showed up and like pulled them out of the box. Everyone went crazy. It was awesome. So no,
Oh.
that was like just one of our seniors wanted to get them for the team, and so they got them last year. Pretty sick though. They're cool.
Oh man, that's an understatement. Those are capital T tough. Like
Yeah.
I saw those, I was like, I don't want to swim against those girls. Like I'm good. Like I'm gonna find another pool. All right, I'm gonna stop talking about my selfish questions. I think that's so dope though. I'm gonna run it back to David Mitchell's mailbag. David, fire away at Maggie. Go ahead.
Yeah, what's one message you want every listener to walk away with today if we missed something? Or just a message for someone that might be struggling through a hard time or that just doesn't know where to start? What would you tell them?
Yeah. Wow, that's the loaded question. That's a great question though.
That's why he asked the questions, Maggie. We don't do that much. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I'd say one of my biggest pieces of advice, and this goes back to something, and honestly, this is coming from a place of me not being great at this all the time. Um, it's okay to ask for help. Like it's okay to talk to people. I think the more you can lean on the people around you, the better. And I don't want to say easier because it's never like easy, but the easier it is. And so I think leaning on people around you, whether that's your friends, whether that's a teacher, a coach, a professor, an advisor, like anyone who's in your corner, I think don't be afraid to lean on them. I think don't be afraid to talk about what you're going through. I think a lot of times, and I'm am still guilty of this, it's hard sometimes to talk about things that you're going through if even sometimes you don't necessarily have the words for it yet, but if you can start talking about it, it makes it easier, and things kind of start rolling. So I would say lean on people around you, talk to people about what you're going through, and talk to them about that, and then ask questions. I think ask questions and talking to people. Every job I've gotten, every like cool experience I've done is because I've like made a connection with somebody. And I tell my girls this all the time, like, don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to just go up to someone and say hi. So I think just like human connection is huge, and whatever that looks like, whether it's because you're struggling or because you're just trying to like figure things out in the world, use the people around you. Don't jump right to Chat GPT. I sound like my mom when I say that, but like
Love
don't
that.
go right
Love
to
that.
Chat GPT, but like lean on the people around you.
What a
Yeah,
fantastic answer. Go ahead, Dave.
yeah, I love that answer. It's just so important. I know it's really hard to just take that one step, but if you like maybe even just set like a timeline. Like if you don't feel like it right away, be like, okay, I want to do this by this time, this day. Set a timeline for it. It doesn't have to be right away, but reach out is really important. My last question is, what's one mental health lesson you've learned from coaching that you wish more people understood?
Ooh, from coaching, like with my athletes.
Yeah.
Um, I think it goes back to the like connection and talking about it piece. I think when I think back to being an athlete, it's a lot. Like being a student athlete, we can't sugarcoat it. Like it is a lot. It is very, it's very, you're constantly just doing stuff. There's never downtime. So I think one thing that I've learned that I've really tried to dive into is just like taking the little moments to talk to your athletes and kind of connecting with them in those times, and a lot of times that's where things will come up. So one thing that we do in the beginning of the season is Wednesday mornings we'll like kind of pull people out of practice. I'll go by grade sometimes or whatever, and it'll be sometimes it's 30 seconds. Hey, how's your week going? Oh, really good, coach. Like, I'm doing awesome. I'm like, great. Like, what's exciting? Great. Hop back in. And then you'll pull somebody else out. How's it going? Oh, it's okay. And you can kind of tell that there's something there. And so I think as a coach, finding the little moments to interact with them, a lot of times you get more out of those and you kind of learn more about them and what they're going through rather than just like a formal office meeting, because sometimes that can be really intimidating. So I think just making those connections in the small moments, and then kind of going with your gut on things. That's one thing I think I've learned that I'm trying to do more of as I can.
Yeah, I think that just builds a really strong team around it and an environment where it's okay to, a little bit more about your players, um, which is really important as a coach or a leader in that position.
I agree. And Maggie, I think we're at the point, and I wonder if you agree with this. I'm going to just play devil's advocate. Like, I think we're at the point in 2025 where, like, we have athletes that are now speaking up about mental health. We have athletes that are now not afraid. There's still situations, but like we still have athletes that are behind the scenes, but like athletes are getting more comfortable. Which is why we do these podcasts, why we coach, why we work with athletes, why we get in leadership roles. But I think sometimes coaches kind of go, all right, talk to me right now. I need to hear it right now. Give it to me. You're saying, no, that's built off of love and trust and picking your spots, correct?
Yeah, I would say so. I think a lot of it is, and this is coming again from somebody who doesn't always like to talk about what they're feeling.
Yeah, got it.
It's a offer, and then it's just like a, hey, I'm okay. Anything going on? I don't really want to talk about it. Fine. You know, my door's always open. Anytime you want to come talk, go ahead. And kind of, I think, leaving the door open for them to do it on their terms. Sometimes they won't come in. More often than not, 12 to 24 hours, I'll get a text, hey, can I swing by the office? And there it is. So I think I don't think it's a like, tell me exactly how you're feeling right now, because that's not going to help. But it's just like having that open line of communication, which takes time. But yeah, no, and to what you said, like, I think it's awesome that student athletes are in the space where they are speaking up about mental health. And again, the more we can talk about it, the more people won't feel like they're going through it alone, which is always better.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go to Jackie in a second. I just something I send all the time is, and I've sent it to both of the peeps in this group, like phone's always on for you. Like it might not be a thing now. Like you might not pick up the phone now, but like I think it's huge having that, I don't know, open door policy physically and virtually. Go ahead, Jackie.
Do you guys hear me all right?
Yep, I got you. Yep.
Okay. I love so much that you're a coach, Maggie. One, because I love when people, like, I love when somebody's talking to me about their job and they love their job. It's like one of my favorite things, and it's so refreshing. And I love, back on to what Pat just mentioned, that we have these kind of, I see older coaches that have been coaching for a while, and the young kids in the past 5 years since COVID have really started to talk about mental health. And sometimes it's not even against the sake of their own good. Like, these coaches think they're helping, and they're like, how's your mental health? Are you anxious? And athletes don't know how to respond to that. But what I'm seeing is this conversation of mental health really started in the last decade. And now a lot of these college athletes like you are now all in the coaching scene. So now you're seeing, and it's so refreshing, you're seeing people like Pat, like you, that, like Coach Josh from last week, that have experienced this and it helped start this conversation. And now you're all these young coaches, and it's just this amazing, like, continuation of this conversation happening in like the most healthiest, confident, like, supportive way. And I love it.
Jackie, and I'm gonna sound so cliche. We can bridge the gap with this generation. Like, look at that. I've never even thought of it like that. I love the shot. I like that one. But no, like honestly, like, that's what we can do. And Maggie, if I'm taking anything away from this as a co-host on the podcast, as a parent, coach, educator, whatever, you care about your players so damn much, and it makes me so damn happy.
Thank you. Yeah, I do. I think For me, it's like if I get to a point where, like you said, again, I feel so lucky at how much I love my job. I feel really lucky about it, and I do. I tell my girls I love them all the time. I'm like, I love you guys. I love this group. Like I do. I love my athletes. Yeah, it's just awesome. I am biased, but I think it's the best job in the world. So
We'll make sure to clip that one so everyone sees that, and your athletes and parents. It's good for recruiting, Maggie. It's good for recruiting. All right. So besides that, I do want to give you, this is a new one I'm going to try out today, and maybe it'll go terrible. Who knows? I'm going to give you 30 seconds. I want you to shout out everybody that you haven't shouted out yet that's made you who you are today.
oof, that is, I go 30 seconds. All right. I think two biggest when I think of my coaching world, Matt Disler and Molly Chamberlain, both of them were my head coaches previously. They are the reason I got into coaching. They both gave me so many opportunities to just be able to learn and grow. So the two of them are huge. My family, my parents, always been super supportive. My brothers are super awesome. Love them. And then I'm trying to think, my teammates. I wouldn't be here without my teammates who I had in college, who are now my best friends today. And so I think, yeah, I could keep going. I have so many people in my corner. My fiance is awesome. She's just so supportive of everything I do.
Yeah, tell me about her. Never heard of her. What's her name?
Lauren.
Guys, love it. Yeah, tell me a little bit about
She's
her. Go
awesome.
ahead.
We just got engaged recently, so surprise everyone who's listening to this who we haven't told yet. But
Oh my goodness, look at that. On the Keep Going podcast.
big
We're
drop.
never leaving this question here. Love that.
Yeah, no, she's been great. It's I'll shout out to her, and on Christy and her talk about it a lot. Being a coach's partner is not easy at all. We are constantly doing stuff. And so I couldn't ask for a better person to support me and know that, hey, and this once the season comes, this is where I'm at. And so yeah, she's great.
Maggie, you're great. And we'll wrap this up today. I'm going to have David Mitchell bring us home.
Yeah, thank you for coming on here today. You've impacted so many people already, and you're going to keep on shining your light, and you are the light. I think your energy and you have a positivity around you, which impacts so many people. So thank you so much for coming on here today and start your Sunday.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me, guys. We'll have to do a swap and have you guys on my podcast too, and we can chat about that.
Maggie, just send the time. We'll be there. I mean, we're not tough people to book. We love making impact the same way you do. Maggie, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. And above all else, keep going, everybody.
Thanks, Maggie.
Thanks, guys.
All right. That was episode 142 of the Keep Going podcast, sponsored by Me Too We LLC. Also, this week's episode sponsored by Fueled AF. Angelica Ford. Check them out. They're fantastic. Great vision, great purpose. Fueled AF. Thank you so much for the support and love of the Keep Going podcast. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week.